At a time of crisis, the ninth Prince Qin Wudao, who had been ignored by everyone, was ordered by Kuang Fu to tilt the Empire State Building, command the Sixth Army, and perform official duties, creating a prosperous era of heaven and earth. Ding, congratulations to the host, the check.in system is in place. Once awakened, the world knows, who does not know the ruler. QQ Group Number 4925273222 Keywords of the novel. Fantasy. Unparalleled Prince, conquering the heavens. No pop-ups, fantasy. Unmatched Prince, conquer the heavens. Complete download of TXT, fantasy. Unmatched Prince, conquering the heavens. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Qin Wudao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Qin Wudao, Border Urgent Report. 6 countries outside the border, mobilize the whole country's troops to attack Hangu Pass. General requests assistance. A border team flew from the distant sky, their faces stained with blood, and their mournful voices shattered the tranquility of the ancient imperial capital. The news spread to the court, causing shock among the Manchu court and the courtiers. Emperor Qin urgently convened a court meeting to discuss strategies to defend the enemy. In the center of the imperial capital, except for the imperial palace, the rest are mansions of various civil and military officials, built in a magnificent manner. However, on the outskirts, they are somewhat unconventional, with only a few simple houses. A young man in a black robe lay under a big tree in the courtyard, with sunlight shining through the leaves and shining on his face, causing him to squint his eyes slightly. I saw this young man looking ordinary, but very enduring. The only thing that stood out was his slightly narrowed eyes, revealing the vicissitudes and profoundness, as if he had seen through all things in the world and understood the true meaning of life. Your Highness, there is news coming from the palace. A middle-aged man in a white robe walked over quickly, with a slightly sinister smile on his lips. He bowed and said, "The 6 kingdoms are attacking Qin, and the troops are out of Hangu Pass. The border is in danger." The young man frowned slightly and quickly calmed down. How are the court prepared to respond? Deadly battle. Emperor Qin ordered that from the royal family to ordinary nobles, all family members should be sent to fight at Hangu Pass. At this point, the middle-aged man paused slightly and exclaimed with emotion, "Your Highness, the opportunity we are waiting for has arrived." Yeah. Finally here. The young man stood up, a terrifying aura lingering around him, a strong sense of war. His eyes gazed into the distance, and a flame called ambition was burning fiercely. After 15 years in this world, he finally has a chance to show off his skills. This world, called the Primitive Continent, exists in the 3000 Dao realms, and its location is the Great Qin Empire in the Eastern Dao realm, a powerful empire that has existed for 100,000 years. In theory, he was the 9th prince of the Great Qin Empire, a nobleman with a luxurious appearance, and should have a lifetime of glory and noble status, but reality is the opposite. After 100,000 years of development, the internal power groups of the Great Qin Empire were intertwined, and his birth mother was an ordinary person without the support of powerful figures. Therefore, from birth, he was excluded from the center of power. You can tell from his name, Qin Wudao. No way. No way. The Dao here is very obvious, it is the throne of the heir, it is the throne of the emperor. Having 2 lifetimes of wisdom, Qin Wudao was well aware of the ruthlessness of the royal family. In order to save his life, he dared not show Ruth's lack of ambition, so he moved into this dilapidated house and stayed at home all day, never showing off. He was naturally unwilling to accept such a fate. Fortunately, at the age of 5, the awakening of the system that accompanied him through time gave him the opportunity to change his destiny. This system is called the check.in system. On the day of his birthday every year, he can check in through the system, obtain supernatural powers, physical fitness, talented individuals, powerful legions, and so on. The longer you sign in continuously, the richer the reward you will receive. In the first year, he signed in for Chaos Constitution, ranking first on the mainland. In the second year, he signed into the Chaos Heavenly Classic and reached his ultimate level of cultivation, allowing him to step into the legendary Fairyland. In the third year, he signed in for the Holy Dao Soldier Xuanhuan sword. In the fifth year, he signed in with strategist Jia Su and formed a secret guard to investigate intelligence. In the 8th year, he signed in for the 18 cavalries of Yanyan. In the 10th year, he signed in for 50,000 to Qin Wudao and placed them in the system space. Now, he is exactly 15 years old and has signed in for a full 10 years. With the treasures he has signed in, he not only established intelligence agencies and secret guards throughout the eastern ancient regions, but also has a powerful army. Even his own strength has reached the realm of the Dharma minister, far surpassing the first emperor of Qin, Qin Xiaolong. If this were to spread, it would probably cause a huge uproar and make it difficult for many people to sleep and eat. So, he is waiting for an opportunity. An opportunity to rise up in name only, an opportunity that outsiders cannot stop. Jia Su, go down and prepare. Qin Wudao said in a deep voice, feeling a bit impatient. As long as he can establish an immortal honor in the Battle of Hangu Pass, he is qualified to compete for the position of Crown Prince, fearless of the forces behind the major princes. He is the prince, so he must participate in the struggle of the Crown Prince, which is the fate of the royal family. The winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. Moreover, with a check.in system, he is not willing to be ordinary. After 15 years of silence, he should also appear. No. Jia Su respectfully saluted and went into the room to pack his things. Soon, a decree was issued in the palace, appointing Qin Wudao as the 4th-rank general and forming an army to fight at Hangu Pass. In the military organization of the Great Qin Empire, it was divided into grades 1 to 9, with the 4th grade being a threshold. Crossing the 4th grade, one could lead a single army and command 50,000 people. On the same day, the other 8 sons of Emperor Qin received the imperial edict. Including the first day's proud Qin Xiaolong, they were all conferred the title of 4th-rank general and formed their own army without bias. Anyone with discerning eyes can see that this is Qin Emperor's experience of training 9 princes. Hangu Pass is a breeding ground for Gu, and in the battle of blood and fire, only by surviving and obtaining enough combat achievements can one enter Qin Emperor's vision. In the following days, the imperial army frequently mobilized and issued orders to the 4 regions. The vast war machine of the Great Qin Empire, under the command of Emperor Qin, rapidly operated and unleashed astonishing combat power. Except for Qin Wudao, the other 8 princes, with the support of the forces behind them, formed legions and had many powerful followers accompanying them on the expedition. Prince Qin Xiaolong, go to battle. 2nd Prince Qin Zhanggu, go to war. 5th Prince Qin Suming, go to battle. 8th Prince Qin Tai, go to war. Every once in a while, a loud voice echoes over the imperial capital, representing a prince embarking on an expedition, with countless people passing by and shouting for victory. Tiger and Wolf Qin State. The passion of the old Qin people was completely ignited by this war. Everyone's attention was focused on the 8 princes, discussing who was most likely to achieve the tremendous military achievements, subconsciously ignoring the 9th Prince Qin Wudao. Qin Wudao paid no attention to this. He was quietly leaving the imperial capital with Jia Su and the 18 cavalries of Yan Yun, disappearing into the wilderness. Dragon fights in the wilderness. If you don't come out, it's already amazing. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Hangu Pass. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Hangu Pass. To reach Hangu Pass, one must pass through a huge mountain range, with only a straight official road connecting to other places. During this period, legions of soldiers were walking on official roads, including local defenders, regular armies, and the army of 8 princes. 100,000 years ago, before the establishment of the Great Qin dynasty, this place was still a paradise for monsters. In order to prevent monsters from harassing the people, Emperor Taizu dispatched a strong army, fought for thousands of years, slaughtered billions of monsters, and ensured the stability of the territory. In the following tens of thousands of years, successive Qin emperors successively transformed this region, moved mountains and opened roads, built this Qin Straight Road, and established Hangu Pass at the end of the road to govern the world's soldiers. A small team walking on the official road, led by Qin Wudao, couldn't help but sigh as they looked at this ancient road. Time has proven that the decisions of our ancestors were correct. This Qin Straight Road is like a sharp sword, hanging above the heads of the 6 countries. Countless iron-blooded Qin troops can attack the 6 countries at any time from the Qin Straight Road. And at the end of the road, Hangu Pass is a shield that guards the safety of the Great Qin, blocking the armies of the 6 countries. For tens of thousands of years, the smoke of war has never filled the interior of the Great Qin Empire. Your Highness, the Secret Guard has received intelligence that the situation at Hangu Pass is not optimistic. If it weren't for General Wang Jian's presence, it would have been breached long ago. We must rush to the battlefield as soon as possible. Jia Su rode a dark horse and walked along the edge of Qin Wudao, looking at the intelligence just passed on by the Dark Guard with a hint of concern. This battle will change the pattern of the eastern ancient regions. If the 6 countries win, then the state of Qin will be destroyed. The victory of Qin can take advantage of the situation to attack the 6 states, unify the eastern ancient regions, and deter the rest of the Dao regions. Qin Wudao nodded, his divine soul shattered his body, looked around, and after confirming that there were no outsiders, the mind-mind communication system said, "Summon the great Qin Iron Cavalry." Immediately, on the broad Qin Straight Road, gusts of wind blew and yellow sand rose up, blocking people's sight. Boom boom. A deafening sound of horse hooves came from a distance, the sound becoming louder and louder. Just hearing this sound made people goosebumps and their hearts surge. A few minutes later, the yellow sand dissipated. What appeared before Qin Wudao was an army stretching for miles, riding on warhorses with cold faces, wielding various weapons and emitting a chilling killing aura. In addition, wearing blood-colored armor, it was like a tide of blood, about to engulf the world. Their strength has reached the innate realm, comparable to the most elite legion of the Great Qin Empire. Qin Iron Cavalry, see your highness. With my body, forge a country without borders, with my army, fight in all directions, with my life, defend your highness. 50,000 Qin Iron Cavalry shouted, with their right hand placed on their chest, performing ancient oath-taking rituals, and their eyes fixed on Qin Wudao, revealing fanaticism, loyalty, and faith. They all firmly believe that Qin Wudao can lead them to conquer the world, expand territory, and nail the title of the Great Qin Iron Cavalry in the long river of history, immortal. Qin Iron Cavalry, set out for battle. The powerful voice of Qin Wudao reached the ears of the soldiers. Boom! A terrifying aura emanated from the body of the Iron Cavalry of the Great Qin, with a sense of war breaking through the air, forming bloody wolf smoke above their heads, giving the illusion that they were about to slaughter all spirits and stain the world with blood. What an iron army! Jia Su's face was full of smiles. His Highness, with such a strong army to assist him, why worry about not achieving great success? Standing in the rear, the 18 cavalries of Yan Yun quietly looked at the Iron Cavalry of Qin, but if you look closely, you will find that their eyes are full of war intent, wanting to compete for power. The army marched forward with the belief of victory, galloping along the Qin Straight Road. Hangu Pass. The first level of Qin. The city wall, several tens of zhang high, stretches for dozens of miles and blocks the end of Qin Jidao. On the wall, which is several zhang thick, there are remnants of weapons everywhere. In front of it is an endless plain, and behind it is a magnificent mountain range. A few miles away, the 6-country coalition army formed a neat formation of more than 10 square formations, with numerous battle flags and a sense of solemnity soaring into the sky, shattering the white clouds above their heads. This is their 4th charge. In front of the army, there is a simple high platform with the flags of the 6 kingdoms flying in the wind. 6 experienced generals stared fixedly at Hangu Pass. At the checkpoint, General Wang Jian was as stable as Mount Tai, holding his sword in his right hand, calm and composed. Behind him stood 8 princes with eager faces. Going further, there were the leaders of the major legions, with a slightly solemn expression. They all knew that this was a national war. Send this general's order, attack the city. Chu Wuji, who commanded the army of the 6 countries, raised his right hand and ordered loudly. Suddenly, the flags of the 6 countries broke through the air, and the tip of the flag pointed straight at Hangu Pass. Kill! 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 The soldiers of the 6 countries moved, like sleeping beasts searching for prey. Infantry wearing heavy armor, holding a shield in the left hand and a sword in the right hand, charge under the cover of archers, and among them are various large siege equipment. Shoot arrows! Wang Jian gave a cold command. Countless arrows tilted down from the city walls, blocking the sky and sun, with unparalleled force, struck the soldiers of the 6 kingdoms with a piercing clang sound. Most arrows are blocked by shields, but there is still a small number of arrows that strike the soldiers, effortlessly piercing through their flesh and blood, taking away one life after another. On the battlefield, the dead will not be pitied, and the soldiers behind continue to step on the bodies of their comrades, charging wildly. Quickly, the 6-nation alliance arrived outside the Hangu Pass, with various large siege tools and fierce knocking on the city gate. A series of aerial ladders were erected on the city wall, and many soldiers of the 6th nation who were practicing martial arts lightly tapped on the ladders, ready to charge up the city wall. Rolling stones ready, fall. The generals on the city wall roared angrily, constantly issuing orders to resist waves of attacks from the 6-nation alliance. Your Highness, the 8 princes, send troops. On the city tower, Wang Jian looked at the battlefield that had formed a ball and ordered in a condensed voice. Obey me. 8 princes bowed, wielding weapons, and walked down the city tower. Behind the Hangu Pass, there were Qin legions standing guard, ready to go to war at any time. The 6 countries were mobilized, and it was difficult to resist their attacks solely by relying on the advantages of the checkpoints. Therefore, Wang Jian formulated a strategy of moderate defense and proactive attack. Roaming and rumbling, the 8 city gates slowly opened, bringing great joy to the soldiers of the 6 countries who had collided with them. However, before they could charge, they saw a large army come out with heavy casualties. Kill! For the sake of Daqin. The 8 princes personally went to battle, greatly enhancing the morale of the Qin army. Following behind, they were like sharp swords piercing into the army of the 6 countries, and wherever they passed, blood paved the way. Defense, surround and annihilate the enemy. The generals of the 6 countries ordered that the soldiers brave the rain of arrows and constantly adjusted their formations, forming 8 huge encirclements on the battlefield. It has to be said that the army formed by the 8 princes is still very powerful, all composed of warriors. Faced with several times the number of besieged soldiers, they did not show any signs of defeat, but instead killed many enemies. Above the city wall, numerous generals nodded in satisfaction with the prince's performance. Only Wang Jian did not show any smile. The crown prince's performance was indeed good, but the crisis that the Qin encountered had just begun. The attack of the 6-nation alliance was just an appetizer. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Dominant Appearance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Dominant Appearance, the combination of man and sword. On the bloody battlefield, the eldest Prince Qin Xiaolong shouted angrily, holding a golden battle sword in his right hand that shone with dazzling light, condensing a sword energy in killing the enemy ahead. Sword energy breaks through the air, like rushing towards the wind and clouds, invincible. All the soldiers of the 6 kingdoms who were hit by sword energy, whether they were postnatal warriors, innate warriors, or true human realm generals, died tragically under the sword energy. The flat ground was cut into a groove by sword energy, and the broken body fell, soaking in a pool of blood. Kill. Qin Xiaolong's sword pointed ahead and led a large army behind him to break through the blockade lines of the 6 countries. Spear soul slash. Lingxi sword. Ghosts and gods shattered and beheaded. He used his unique skills to deliver a fierce blow to several battlefields, including the 2nd Prince Qin War Valley, the 5th Prince Qin Su Ming, and the 8th Prince Qin Tai Yi, infuriating the enemy and breaking through their encirclement. But not all princes were able to succeed. The 3rd Prince Qin Xingxi, the 4th Prince Qin Immortal, the 6th Prince Qin Antian, and the 7th Prince Qin Qiuhong were unable to break out of the encirclement. Under the enemy's siege, they suffered heavy casualties and were in danger. Soldiers, follow me to charge and defeat the debris of the 6 countries. After breaking out of the encirclement, Qin Xiaolong was full of energy and led 50,000 iron soldiers to charge and kill countless enemies on the battlefield. Kill, kill. The Qin army turned red-eyed and bathed in blood, transforming into blood figures carrying suffocating murderous aura, like butchers on the battlefield, like demons recreating the world, frightening people. In their minds, there is only one thought: kill. Kill all the miscellaneous items from the 6 countries thoroughly. Old Qin people, kill. A Qin soldier with a severed arm, with a fierce face and a determination to die, inserted his sword into the enemy's chest. Blood shot fiercely on his face, and the old Qin man laughed, becoming a devil in reality. He eradicated another enemy for the country. Jiujiu Lao Qin, go to the national crisis together. Countless Qin soldiers shouted, desolate war songs echoed over the battlefield, black and white Qin flags swayed, never falling from beginning to end, guiding the direction of the Qin army's attack. Compared to 100 years ago, the strength of Qin has become much stronger. Behind the battlefield, on a simple high platform, Chu Wuji's face was solemn. He had been at war with the Qin army for many years and was well aware of the terror of the Qin people. The seemingly elegant Qin people were imbued with savage blood. Compared to the armies of the 6 countries, the Qin people are the least afraid of death. This is not the most terrifying thing. The most terrifying thing about the Qin people is that they have faith, a sense of national pride, and a persistent spirit of struggle. Therefore, every Qin person is a born warrior, able to develop from a small tribe to the strongest force in the eastern ancient domain in just 100,000 years. With the power of the 6 kingdoms, we are never a match for the great Qin. Fortunately, we still have a backup. Chu Wuji murmured to himself, staring at Qin Xiaolong galloping on the battlefield with a hint of sneer. He arched his hand at the void and said, please invite the heavenly pride of the sect to fight. Behind each of the 6 kingdoms, there is a hidden sect that supports them. They have a deep foundation in countless powerful individuals, who have existed for over 100,000 years and are hidden behind the scenes, controlling the eastern ancient domain. Boom boom. The clear void instantly shrouded in dark clouds, with powerful figures floating in the clouds, overlooking the battlefield below. Their expressions were indifferent, as if the 9 heavens immortal had descended to earth. The gathering of the 6 sects really looks up to the great Qin. As Hangu Pass closed, Wang Jian's calm expression finally changed, but it quickly returned to normal. He believed that the power of the country could definitely defeat the enemy. The first pride of the great Qin dynasty. A martial artist in his 30s from the cave realm, qualified to let me take action. A young man wearing a white robe, carrying the aura of being invincible in the world, slowly flew down from the clouds and said to Qin Xiaolong, remember that the person who killed you is Luo Yun, the Taoist son of the heavenly fire sect. Burning for thousands of miles. As soon as the words fell, dozens of crimson flames appeared out of thin air, burning fiercely in the void, emitting a terrifying temperature, making the cold battlefield fiery. Arrogant. Qin Xiaolong looked up and rose into the air. In his pitch-black eyes, a dazzling divine light burst out, and 2 golden dragons faintly howled up to the sky, swirling countless sword energies around him, slaying towards Luo Yun. Xiao Dao Air. Luo Yun's face was disdainful, and he lightly waved his right hand. Dozens of flames surged in the wind, colliding with his sword energy. Boom! Two forces collided and made a heavy sound, distorting the void. Qin Xiaolong's sword energy persisted for a moment before being burned by the high temperature and disintegrating one after another. Go! Luo Yun continued to attack, and dozens of fierce flames fused together, transforming into a fiery dragon. With lightning speed, they smashed into Qin Xiaolong's body. The flames exploded. A figure flew backwards, like a bird with folded wings, hitting the ground and creating a large crater. Puff! Qin Xiaolong lay in the pit, spewing out a mouthful of blood. His sword fell to the side, covering his charred chest. His face was pale, staring at Luo Yun with disbelief. He lost. With just one move, he, the first emperor of the Qin Empire, was defeated by the emperor of the Hidden World sect. Is this the Qin Tianjiao? He's too weak, he can't even catch up with 30% of my strength. Now, this Taoist priest is giving you death, don't you have any objections? The domineering voice of Luo Yun echoed through the sky, causing many generals at Hangu Pass to turn pale and prepare to take action to save Qin Xiaolong. However, he was stopped by Wang Jian. There is a hidden rule in the cultivation world that young Tianjiao should not interfere in the battle. Moreover, now the imperial powerhouses have not arrived yet. Once they intervene, the powerhouses of the 6 great gates will destroy the levels in an instant. Death. Luo Yun extended his index and middle fingers, lightly tapping towards Qin Xiaolong, and burst out a red light, piercing through the void. Qin Xiaolong lay in the pit, motionless, showing a hint of despair and unwillingness. Countless soldiers of the great Qin were full of anger, trying to stop them, but they were powerless and could only watch as the heavenly pride of the great Qin was about to be killed. Shoo! At this moment, inside the Hangu Pass, a grey sword aura flew and hit the beam of light, saving Qin Xiaolong's life at the critical moment. Who? Luo Yun's face darkened, and his eyes were filled with endless murderous intent, shrouded in flames. Who made the move? In the Qin camp, all the generals, including Wang Jian, looked at each other and kept looking around. Can you also kill people from Daqin? Under the anticipation of countless people, Qin Wudao arrived from the sky. With each step, his breath became stronger and his gaze became incredibly domineering, like a peerless king sweeping across the battlefield. It's the 9th prince. Wang Jian couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. He never expected that the person who would take action would be Qin Wudao. The generals looked at the domineering figure and were also shocked. Isn't the 9th prince useless? Who are you? Luo Yun was intimidated by Qin Wudao's aura, and after a moment of confusion, he sternly asked, constantly activating his spiritual energy. His body was shining brightly, like a sun. On Qin Wudao, he felt a strong threat and dared not show any carelessness. Remember, the person who killed you is Qin Wudao, the 9th prince of the great Qin Empire. Qin Wudao learned from what Luo Yun had said before, and with a stretch of his right hand, a golden battle sword appeared. On one hand, it carved the sun, moon, and stars, and on the other hand, it carved the mountains, rivers, and plants, lingering with a sacred aura. The towering sword intent spreads throughout the battlefield. For a moment, all the battle swords became dim and lifeless. The ones that fell to the ground were all suspended in mid-air, with curved blades, as if worshipping the Xuanhuan sword. P.S. Seeking support. The new book, Mysterious. An unparalleled emperor, summoning gods, has been released. At present, 2 gods, the land god and the kitchen god, have been summoned. Brothers and sisters, please give a little hand to support the collection. Thank you. Seeking support. The new book, Mysterious. An unparalleled emperor, summoning gods, has been released. At present, 2 gods, the land god and the kitchen god, have been summoned. Brothers and sisters, please give a little hand to support the collection. Thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Sword/Daozi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Sword/Daozi, Qin Wudao. I haven't heard of it, but as long as you hand over your Dao soldiers, I'll keep you dead. Luo Yun said in a deep voice, his words still filled with arrogance, his icy eyes fixed on Xuanhuan's sword, all showing greed. He can be certain that this is a precious Taoist weapon. In the primitive continent, there was also a strict classification of weapon levels, from low to high. They were mortal, spiritual, Taoist, royal, sacred, imperial, and immortal. A good weapon is very rare. Looking at the entire Eastern ancient domain, there are only a few Dao soldiers, which are still inherited by the sect. They will only be activated when the sect is in danger of collapse. Dao Bing. Upon hearing that Xuanhuan, the ultimate immortal soldier, was considered a Taoist soldier, Qin Wudao shook his head without explanation. He was too lazy to waste his words on the dying person. Death. As soon as this word is spoken, the wind and clouds change, and the killing spirit on the battlefield suddenly increases. Qin Wudao took a step forward and slowly raised his Xuanhuan sword, releasing a sword energy that resembled gold casting, covered in mysterious patterns that could cut through the sky and earth. This sword contains sword intent and will conquer the unparalleled sky. Here comes the knife. Luo Yun dared not be careless. In front of him, there were ripples in the void, and a war sword appeared. The crimson blade flickered with a cold light, and the evil energy surged into the sky, displaying its sharpness. This sword looks extraordinary and belongs to the spirit weapon category, but compared to the Xuanhuan sword, it is much different. Slash. Luo Yun held his sword and shouted loudly. Suddenly, countless sword energies appeared, like dense raindrops, forming a network of heaven and earth, covering the sword energy exerted by Qin Wudao. Under the gaze of countless pairs of eyes, the sword energy and sword energy were like a destined battle of reincarnation, fiercely colliding together, causing a shocking explosion. Boom! The void trembled, and a wave of energy emanated from the center of the explosion, crashing in all directions like rough waves. Under the impact of the aftershocks, Luo Yun's face turned white, his body kept regressing, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Okay. As Hangu Pass was closed, Wang Jian couldn't help but drink loudly. At a critical moment, Qin Wudao descended from the sky, regaining the great power of Qin and making him feel fond of this unknown ninth prince. If I remember correctly, the ninth prince is only 15 years old. The intelligence is incorrect. The ninth prince of the great Qin is not a waste, but rather a world-renowned pride. So arrogant, we must kill him as soon as possible, otherwise many years later, he will become another town power. Above the clouds, the powerful members of the 6 great gates secretly transmitted their message, and the gaze of Qin Wudao was filled with endless killing intent. Don't worry, everyone. My disciple has already understood the Dharma, and there is no doubt that Qin Wudao will die. Luo Yun's master, the heavenly fire Taoist, stroked his beard and said with a smile, full of confidence. The other 5 powerful sects cast envious glances upon hearing this. Qin Wudao, do you dare to hurt me? Luo Yun touched the blood at the corner of his mouth, his face twisted a bit. His spiritual energy kept running, and a virtual shadow of a vermilion bird condensed above his head. His wings waved, emitting a strong firelight. Within a radius of 10 miles, the air continues to rise, and many plants begin to wither and self-ignite. Dharma realm. Is that what's interesting? Qin Wudao stared at the vermilion bird shadow, revealing a strong sense of war. The growth of a warrior is a history of combat, rising in battle, understanding the Tao in battle, and being invincible in battle. 2 months ago, Daozi comprehended the vermilion bird Dharma and broke through the Dharma realm. You are sure to lose. Luo Yun fully unleashed his strength, unleashed his magical powers, and countless flames swept across the world, turning the void into a sea of fire. In the sea of fire, there is a red vermilion bird soaring above the flames. Under this vermilion bird, Qin Wudao was like an ant, becoming incredibly small. Not good, the ninth prince is in danger. Above the level, Wang Jian's face was gloomy, and a struggle appeared in his eyes. He hesitated whether to take action. After all, Qin Wudao's talent was too incredible. That's not necessarily true. Amidst the flames, Qin Wudao's mouth curled upwards, and a more terrifying aura erupted from within. The raging sea of fire was dissipated by this aura, and then the spiritual energy boiled. Above Qin Wudao's head, a phantom figure condensed, emitting a vast aura. Upon closer inspection, this figure resembled him somewhat. Has the ninth prince also broken through the realm of Dharma? Wang Jian, who was still hesitating, opened his mouth wide and his eyes were a bit dazed. At the age of 15, he broke through the Dharma realm, which had never appeared in the 100,000-year history of the Great Qin Empire. Qin Wudao broke the cultivation record of the Great Qin and pushed all the heavenly pride for 100,000 years. You should know that when practicing a path, there are a total of 15 realms, namely acquired, innate, true, other shore, cave sky, Dharma phase, nirvana, transcendence, heavenly realm, entering the saint, sage, holy king, quasi-emperor, great emperor, immortal. The holder of the breakthrough of the legal realm in the Great Qin Empire was the current Emperor Qin, who broke through at the age of 30. And Qin Wudao shortened this record by half. Order, at all costs, to protect the safety of the ninth prince. This time, Wang Jian did not hesitate at all and ordered directly. As for the hidden rules of the cultivation world, he had long forgotten them. For the sake of an unparalleled pride, he has already prepared to bear the consequences of breaking the rules. Kill. Sensing the powerful energy inside his body, Qin Wudao took the lead in launching an attack. Xuanhuan's sword energy was crisscrossing, and above his head, Fa Xiang also sat in the same motion, condensing countless sword energies. In an instant, the sword energy converged, forming a sword river. The rushing current bravely advanced, tearing apart all things. Damn it, he's also in the realm of the Dharma realm. Luo Yun's confidence, which had just exploded, was instantly shattered without a trace. As a member of the Dharma realm, Qin Wudao was holding a Taoist weapon, so why bother? The chance of victory is extremely small, unless he is a special physique owner who can unleash divine powers. Unfortunately, he is not, just an ordinary genius. Vermilion Bird Blade. Without hesitation, Luo Yun roared up to the sky and decided to start desperately. His sword trembled violently in his hand, turning into a purple flame. Even the vermilion bird above his head turned purple, which was a burning of essence and blood. He has a self-awareness of his own strength. Although he is a martial artist in the realm of the Dharma, his combat effectiveness is very ordinary. If he doesn't work hard, he may have to die under the Dao army. Those who violate the Great Qin dynasty will be sentenced to death. Qin Wudao shouted loudly, his sword falling from the sky, shattering the purple sword light with unparalleled divine power, and striking Luo Yun. Bang! Under the sky, Luo Yun's body was directly cut off by sword energy, and blood splattered, staining the sky red. The gentle breeze blew away the blood mist, and in the sky above Hangu Pass, Qin Wudao wielded his sword, his divine light flickering all over him, like a god of war descending and standing proudly above the crowd. Wansheng! 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 The Qin army was boiling, and all the old Qin people were cheering, holding up their weapons and looking at Qin Wudao's gaze, showing an increase in respect and recognition. Damn it! If you dare to kill my disciple, I will cut you to pieces and avenge my disciple. On the other side, the heavenly fire Taoist standing in the clouds watching the play, watching his beloved disciple die in battle, furious, and unleashing extraordinary strength, creating a raging wave of fire as if he was about to burn the world to ashes. Above the 9 heavens, a fiery war sword hung above Qin Wudao's head, slaughtering him. Stop it. Wang Jian, who had always been vigilant, suddenly appeared next to Qin Wudao, wielding a long spear and slaughtering in the sea of blood, blocking the attack of the Tianhua Taoist. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Morality and Righteousness of Qin People. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Morality and Righteousness of Qin People, Tianhua Taoist, are you going to break the rules? Wang Jian angrily rebuked, his voice thundering like thunder, exploding in the sky and earth. The peak aura of the extraordinary realm erupted, sheltering Qin Wudao behind him, his face full of vigilance. Having been in conflict with the sect for hundreds of years, he was aware of the character of the strong members of the sect, who were all a group of hypocritical and righteous gentlemen. For one's own benefit, one can resort to any means possible. Killing someone to pay for their life, it's only natural. The heavenly fire Taoist stood 100 zhang away, howling in the sky, feeling extremely sad and turning into a strong killing energy, generating endless evil energy and staining the void around him with blood. He stood in the blood-colored space, like a world killer crawling out of the blood prison. In this world, the relationship between master and disciple is comparable to that between father and son, and Luo Yun is his most valued disciple. He regards him as his own and has spent countless treasures since his cultivation, hoping that one day he can break through the heavenly realm. Now that Luo Yun has been killed, no matter how deep the hatred in his heart is, even if all the water from the 3 rivers and 5 lakes is poured out, it cannot be washed away. Elder of Tianhua sect, set up your formation. The heavenly fire Taoist suddenly looked up and roared with a murderous intent. Above the clouds, more than 10 elders of the heavenly fire sect flew down, dressed in a fiery red Taoist robe, with all their cultivation in an extraordinary realm, standing in a mysterious position, forming a large formation. Summon the vermilion bird projection with my essence and blood, kill. The figure of the heavenly fire Taoist flickered and landed in front of the formation. He slapped his chest with his right hand and sprayed out a mouthful of blood essence, landing on the formation. Boom! Above the 9 heavens, the clouds rolled and a sea of fire appeared. A desolate, vicissitudes, and terrifying aura nurtured in the sea of fire, forming 1,000 zhang vermilion bird shadow. Vermilion bird formation, this is the strongest formation of the heavenly fire sect. It seems that the heavenly fire old man is in a hurry. It's okay, after killing Qin Wudao, it's enough to make Emperor Qin's heart ache for a long time. If Emperor Qin wants to feel heartbroken, he must also live. After this battle, there will be no more great Qin Empire in Donggu City. Counting the time, the sect leader and the elder should arrive at the imperial capital. The other 5 powerful sects whispered and argued, revealing a huge conspiracy from their words. Hangu Pass is just a battlefield. After attracting the attention of the Qin Empire, the peak combat power of the 6 great gates will descend on the imperial capital and destroy the foundation of the Qin Empire. Heavenly Realm Aura, Your Highness, retreat quickly. After sensing the aura of the vermilion bird's projection, Wang Jian's pupils suddenly shrank and he spoke to Qin Wudao in a very urgent tone. He was not afraid of any extraordinary enemies, but was powerless in the face of the heavenly realm. The difference in one realm is like heaven and earth. However, even though he knew he was at war with Zhu Ke projection and would die 10 times without any life, he did not take a step back, like a divine mountain blocking Qin Wudao. He wants to use this life to exchange for the future of the Qin Empire. General. Looking at the figure in front of him, Qin Wudao felt extremely grateful in his heart. He knew very well that with Wang Jian's combat power, he could leave him alone and escape. No matter how strong the Zhu Ke projection was, it needed the support of an array. Your Highness, hurry up. Wang Jian interrupted Qin Wudao's next words, his eyes fixed on the projection of the vermilion bird, and he ordered in a deep voice, all generals obey orders, spare no effort, protect the 9th prince and retreat. Shoo, shoo, shoo above the level, dozens of figures flew out, with cultivation all above the realm of Dharma, blocking Qin Wudao's body with a resolute expression. Your Highness, hurry up, let's cut off the rear. His Highness the Ninth Prince, remember the honor of the Qin Empire and remember today's battle. Jiujiu Lao Qin, go to the national crisis together. For the sake of the great Qin, fight to the death. Your Highness, don't let us sacrifice in vain. A series of mournful voices echoed through the sky, and none of the Qin generals retreated. With their flesh and blood, they forged a steel city wall to march towards righteousness. Qin Wudao stood behind, his face shocked and his body trembling uncontrollably. This is the Qin, is this an old Qin person? To die for the country is to treat one's own life as a feather. I understand the kindness of all the generals. Qin Wudao clenched his fists, his eyes bright like the 9 bright moons. After 15 years, he finally had his own goal. This goal is to lead the rise of the great Qin Empire and lead the old Qin people to live a good life. Let all the old Qin people be like dragons. Yanyan 18 Cavalry, go to battle. Amidst the puzzled gaze of many Qin generals, Qin Wudao roared loudly. Step by step behind Hangu Pass, in the endless mountains and forests, 18 figures flew out, riding high battle horses, all dressed in cold clothes, with curved swords serving them, their faces covered in black masks, only their murderous eyes exposed, wearing black long cloaks, carrying large bows, and 18 arrows. Kill! The 18 cavalries of Yan Yun launched a charge, bending their bows and pulling arrows from hundreds of yards away, shooting out 18 arrows. Each arrow emits a different luster and produces different visions. There are tigers descending the mountain, dragons flying in the sky, immortals chasing the moon, roaring beasts, and yellow sand sweeping through, but these arrows have one thing in common, which is their extremely fast speed. With a flash of light, the arrow pierced through the sky and hit the elder of the heavenly fire sect. It was nailed to the wilderness by a powerful force, unable to move. In this way, the formation was broken and the vermilion bird projection slowly dissipated. This is impossible. Above the void, the eyes of the heavenly fire Taoist were dull, and the gaze of the 18 cavalries of Yan Yun was filled with fear. A single arrow inflicts a heavy blow on an elder. When did the great Qin Empire have such a powerful army? All the generals of Qin, including Wang Jian, were stunned. They can be certain that the great Qin Empire did not have this army. Is Qin Wudao the owner of this legion? Kill! The 18 cavalries of Yan Yun hung their bows and arrows behind them, pulled out the crescent moon sword, and continued to charge. In the blink of an eye, they came to the eyes of the heavenly fire Taoist. The crescent moon sword was flying in the sky and was about to fall. Stop it! Seeing this scene, the other 5 sect powerhouses couldn't sit still and launched powerful attacks. For a moment, the wind and clouds rolled around, the sky and earth changed color, and countless spatial cracks appeared densely, just like a broken mirror. With a gentle touch, it would burst into nothingness. Except for the Tianhua sect, the other 5 sects are Tiangang sect, Jujin sect, Juqing Pavilion, Jinyang sect, and Blood Sword Hall. Retreat. Arrange the formation. Being covered by dozens of attacks, the 18 cavalries of Yan Yun were unable to kill the heavenly fire Taoist. They turned their horses around and avoided all attacks, with spiritual light shining all over their bodies and interconnected to form a formation. At the same time, people were surprised to find that a crescent moon appeared at the far end of the sky. The crescent moon is exactly the same as the weapon of Yan Yun's 18 horses. Charge! After the formation was set up, the 18 cavalries of Yan Yun launched another attack, their aura becoming stronger and stronger. Overall, they reached the cultivation level of the heavenly realm. We also set up our formation. The elder of Jinyang sect shouted, and more than 10 elders arranged a formation, constantly increasing their aura and reaching the cultivation level of the heavenly realm. The heavenly gang sect, the giant sword sect, the heartless pavilion, and the Blood Sword sect have arranged their formations one after another. So, 6 terrifying and unparalleled auras crossed the sky, and finally fought fiercely together. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Revenge and War for Martyrs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Revenge and War for Martyrs. During the battle between the 18 cavalries of Yanyan and the powerful members of the sect, the ground battlefield quieted down, and everyone's gaze involuntarily turned to the sky battlefield, praying for their own victory. Whether it's the Yanyan 18 cavalry or the strong members of the sect, after enhancing the formation, they all unleash the power of heavenly realm warriors and can easily push horizontally on the battlefield. When one side wins, it is when the other side is destroyed. Your Highness, what should we do next? Wang Jian regained his senses and walked behind Qin Wudao, respectfully inquiring. Next. Qin Wudao's majestic gaze swept around him, dazed by the heroic souls of the Qin people who had guarded the border throughout history. They floated in the air above the pass, homeless, and then looked at the armies of the 6 countries. The killing intent increased significantly, and he sternly ordered, of course, it's to sweep down the enemy and avenge the heroic souls of the great Qin. As soon as these words were spoken, all the generals showed a longing expression, silently watching Wang Jian, waiting for his order. Under the gaze of the generals, Wang Jian took a deep breath, emitting a rolling aura of blood and evil. He shouted loudly, "Generals, listen to orders, lead troops to battle, and avenge the martyrs. Kill." A killing word makes the grass and trees shake, and the world shakes. The deafening sound of war drums echoed inside the Hangu Pass, and all the soldiers of the Qin army seemed to have been replaced, like a awakened true dragon, with red eyes and dazzling blood, all connected in one place. Banners fluttering, heroic souls never perish. Countless Qin soldiers, under the gaze of the heroic souls of the martyrs, rushed out of the Hangu Pass and galloped through the plains, killing soldiers from the 6 kingdoms. War. The soldiers of the 6 kingdoms withdrew their gaze and focused on the battle, unaware of how terrifying the enemy they were currently facing. Kill. Among the armies, the great Qin iron cavalry summoned by Qin Wudao was also galloping on horseback, with thousands of people like one. With the ancient sword waving, the energy of 50,000 swords condensed and turned into a heavenly sword, which was slain with a loud bang. Boom! Boom! Stones splattered, smoke and dust rose everywhere, carrying a shower of blood, staining the ground red and rendering the sky. Demon! Demon! The soldiers of the 6 kingdoms were frightened and retreated step by step, their legs trembling uncontrollably. Looking at the gaze of the Qin cavalry, they were filled with fear. They had participated in many battles and had encountered such a powerful army for the first time. Looking around, the shattered ground was littered with broken corpses, piled up in all directions, with blood flowing continuously and converging in low-lying areas, almost forming a river of blood. This scene has a strong impact on the soldiers of the 6 countries, making them unforgettable for life. Kill, they only have 50,000 people. Behind the battlefield, Wei Wuji roared fiercely. Just halfway through the command, he felt cold all over and couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Looking up, he saw 50,000 pairs of cold eyes landing on him. His voice caught the attention of the Qin cavalry. Charge! The leading general roared low, his sword pointing forward, and 50,000 iron cavalry changed their attack direction and charged towards the high platform. Roar! Just like a fierce tiger descending the mountain, the roar of the tiger can be faintly heard, shaking the heavens and earth. A blood tiger wrapped in blood appeared on the head of the Qin iron cavalry, killing all the enemies along the way. The horn of death is officially sounded. In less than a quarter of an hour, the iron cavalry of the great Qin crossed the battlefield, paved the way with blood, and quickly approached Chu Wuji. The overwhelming evil energy was like a divine mountain, suppressing it and enveloping the high platform. Click. With a clear sound, the flag of the Six Kingdoms commander broke from the middle and fell off the high platform, stained with soil. No, don't come over. Except for Chu Wuji, the generals of the other 5 countries completely lost their composure and collapsed on the ground, feeling endless pressure and crushing from all directions, with a heart-wrenching. Dear Heavenly Pride, please act quickly to help. Chu Wuji was not much better either. Although he stood upright, he was still at the end of a strong crossbow. His face turned pale, and he suppressed his inner fear and shouted to the sky. In addition to the elders who were fighting, there were also more than a dozen young figures with extraordinary temperament standing in the clouds. They were all the heavenly pride of the sect. This time, they followed the elders out to see the world. Are we going to take action? Jujin sect Taoist Wan Gi asked, wanting to take action, but full of fear. Upon hearing this, both Qin Wudao and Tianjiao lowered their heads and remained silent. The scene of Qin Wudao killing Luo Yun left a shadow in their hearts, making these arrogant Tianjiao feel inferior. There is only one exception, and that is Chu Jiangqiong, the disciple of the Heavenly Gang sect. He is dressed in white and stands amidst the crowd of heavenly pride, like a towering chicken, divine in the mortal world. Is it okay to have a bit of backbone? You came out with the elders to see the world, not to be a shrinking turtle. Chu Jiangqiong scolded in the tone of an elder, but behind him appeared a golden light that was very dazzling, like a lion waking up from sleep, and a terrifying aura burst out. Being scolded by his peers, Tianjiao in the room smiled and dared not refute. Because Chu Jiangqiong is the only special physique owner of the 6 great gates, with strong strength. At only 28 years old, he broke through the Dharma realm and broke the cultivation record of 200,000 years in the Eastern ancient domain. In the Eastern regions, this name is a myth, representing invincibility. You take action to suppress the army under your feet, I will deal with Qin Wudao. Seeing everyone bowing their heads, Chu Jiangqiong continued, his serene gaze fixed on the figure in the distance, revealing a strong killing intent. The Eastern ancient domain was too small, and having him as an unparalleled heavenly pride was enough. This unparalleled pride can only belong to him. In fact, from the moment Qin Wudao revealed his cultivation in the Dharma realm, he regarded Qin Wudao as a thorn in his side, a thorn in his flesh, and vowed to eradicate him. Okay. Upon hearing this, many Tianjiao no longer opposed and unleashed their powerful forces, launching an attack on the Qin Iron Cavalry. Most of them were warriors from the cave realm. Chu Jiangqiong nodded and stepped forward, appearing 100 feet away. He coldly shouted, Qin Wudao, come out and suffer death. The sound echoed on the battlefield and naturally fell in Qin Wudao's ear. Your Highness, be careful. His name is Chu Jiangqiong and he possesses the Sun God body, ranking 580th out of 3,000 special constitutions. His strength is terrifying. Wang Jian saw the newcomer clearly, frowned slightly, and whispered to Qin Wudao. Just ants. Qin Wudao didn't care at all, he was just a Sun God body of 580. He is a chaotic divine body, ranking first among the 3,000 special constitutions. Even though he has been practicing until now, he is not sure how powerful he is. Ding, congratulations to the host. Triggering system tasks, who is in charge of ups and downs in all worlds. In a prosperous era of cultivation, the heavenly pride will multiply, and together we will pursue the great path. The host should use unparalleled combat power to sweep the heavenly pride across the world and suppress an era. From now on, every time the host defeats a special physique Tianjiao, they will receive a lottery opportunity. As Qin Wudao was preparing to take action, the already calm sound of the system suddenly rang out, making him slightly happy. Looking at Chu Jiangqiong's gaze, it was like a fat lamb. War. Without hesitation, Qin Wudao's body broke through the void and turned into a lightning bolt. He did not use the Xuanhuan sword, clenched his fists with both hands, and carried infinite force, smashing 2 holes in the void. The aura of a king, the power of a tyrant, and the invincibility sweep across the entire battlefield. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Zhu Shen Tai. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Zhu Shen Tai. No matter how strong the body is, it will eventually be difficult to ascend to the Hall of Elegance. Today, let's experience the terror of a special physique. Chu Jiangqiong's voice was fierce, his body moving, his black hair fluttering all over his head, and his hands shining brightly, fighting against Qin Wudao. He is also worthy of possessing a special physique. His moves are mixed with the true fire of the sun, making the power of an ordinary martial arts skill several times stronger. Whether in attack or defense, he is more than capable of facing the blade. Bang 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 bang, in the blink of an eye, the two fought for dozens of rounds, from heaven to earth, and then from earth to the sky, leaving behind dozens of shadows that dazzled the onlookers. Looking at the attack of the 9th prince, he did not fall below, truly worthy of breaking the cultivation record of the great Qin dynasty's Tianjiao. A general smacked his tongue, his face full of admiration. I hope the 9th prince can defeat Chu Jiangqiong and obtain the title of the first heavenly pride of the Eastern ancient domain. I'm afraid it's a bit difficult. Now that they're fighting fiercely, they're all trying to explore. Don't forget that Chu Jiangqiong has the sun god body and can use his accompanying divine powers, but the 9th prince holds a Taoist weapon, so there's still hope for victory. He discussed with the generals one after another, with a hopeful expression on his face, but more of a concern. When fighting in the same environment, it is almost impossible for mortal beings to defeat special constitutions. Boom! Another deep sound echoed through the sky and earth, and Qin Wudao and Chu Jiangqiong, who were in fierce battle, flew backwards at the same time. Their faces were solemn, and they had a rough assessment of each other's strength. The special physique's combat power is indeed extraordinary. Chu Jiangqiong's strength should be several times stronger than Luo Yun. Qin Wudao looked at Chu Jiangqiong, 1,000 feet away, and muttered to himself, "Let's talk about the matter." The strength of the latter is enough to be named the first heavenly pride in the Eastern ancient domain. Unfortunately, Chu Jiangqiong chose to be his enemy. The title of the top in the Dao domain should also be changed. Among my peers, you are the first one to make me exert all my strength. Sun god body, open up. Facing Qin Wudao's gaze, Chu Jiangqiong showed a cold smile. His black and white eyes were clearly covered in gold, and countless mysterious patterns appeared on his body. Shoo! At the same time, the sun hanging for 9 days shone a golden light and landed on Chu Jiangqiong. The power of the sun, bless. At this moment, Chu Jiangqiong was like the second sun in the world, emitting flames all over, generating terrifying high temperatures. Countless heat waves swept around, burning and twisting the void, baking the ground. The territory was more than 10 miles away, like a huge steamer that made people suffocate. Many martial artists with low cultivation stop fighting, activate their spiritual energy, resist this heat flow, and avoid spontaneous combustion. The boundless wilderness, with burning grass and trees, and rolling black smoke and dust, is extremely terrifying. Divine power, the bright sun shines brightly. The Chu River roared long, and its body rose from the ground. When it reached a height of 1,000 zhang, it turned into a fireball of tens of zhang, diving towards Qin Wudao. The void where it passed was burned clean. Your Highness, quickly activate the Taoist device. Watching the battle, Wang Jian's pupils suddenly shrank and he loudly reminded, clenching his fists tightly, feeling extremely nervous. In his view, ordinary mortal beings can only activate the power of Taoist tools to receive divine attacks. Exactly, let me also try the power of the chaos divine body. Qin Wudao turned a deaf ear to Wang Jian's reminder, his eyes shining with brilliant divine light, a aura that surpassed 10,000 paths, dominating the world and slaughtering immortals and demons. Outside the sky, a gray and hazy gas appeared, obscuring the stars and covering the heavens and earth. In an instant, heaven and earth became oppressive. On the battlefield of Hangu Pass, everyone felt cold-hearted. Even the fiercely fighting Yanyan 18 cavalry and sect strongmen stopped fighting and looked at Qin Wudao in shock. Special physique. Qin Wudao also has a special physique. The elder of the Heavenly Gang sect exclaimed in surprise, his face changed dramatically. In the 3,000 realms of the primitive continent, when the Golden Age comes, each realm will give birth to a special physique cultivator, chasing the supreme Tao. 26 years ago, the Chu River Dome was born at midnight, causing chaos in the heavenly order. The bright sun broke through the cold moon, heralding the birth of the sun god body. In the years to come, there will be no more anomalies in the Eastern ancient domain, and it is impossible to have a special physique. Does the ninth prince also awaken his special physique? Wang Jian and other generals were ecstatic. They didn't think too much, only knowing that Qin Wudao could also unleash his divine powers, fearless of Chu Jiangqiong. What? Are you also of a special physique? Chu Jiangqiong, who fell from the sky, sensed the gas of Qin Wudao and trembled with an ominous feeling. However, at this moment, the arrow was on the string and had to be fired. Let's fight. Let me see, is it the sun god with a strong body or your special physique with a strong physique? Chaos God Flame. Qin Wudao waved his hands, and a gray flame appeared in front of him. The flames flickered, and countless paths flowed, giving birth to a chilling wave. The divine power of the chaotic divine body is a form of nothingness. It can evolve all things, it can be time, it can be space, it can also be the five elements, cold ice, the sun. The chaos divine flame is an evolution of Qin Wudao's imitation of the divine power of Chu Jiangqiong, and incorporates the power of chaos to make it even more powerful. Go! Qin Wudao shouted loudly, and the chaos divine flame shattered into the sky, transforming into a chaos firebird, carrying towering flames that covered the sky and earth. The terrifying energy, like a volcanic eruption, collided with Chu Jiangqiong. Boom! The two divine powers come into contact, and the divine light of Dao Hua flows and begins to devour each other. In this way, the gap becomes prominent. The divine power exerted by Chu Jiangqiong was not a match for Qin Wudao at all. In just a few breaths, the scorching sun and flames were devoured, becoming the nourishment for the chaotic divine flame. Puff! The divine power was shattered, and Chu Jiangqiong spewed out a mouthful of hot blood. His body flew backwards and collided with the ground, embedded in the soil, with weak vitality. A generation of Tianjiao Chu Jiangqiong, defeated. Ding! Congratulations to the host for defeating the sun god body and signing in to the ancient emperor's weapon god execution platform. The sound of the system rang out. In the vast system space, a blood-wrapped guillotine appeared, with a coiled dragon pillar and several chains on it, like a real dragon winding around, hanging a huge guillotine with sharp edges. Perhaps it was because too many people were slain, and the blade had turned red, with countless souls sealed in the guillotine. Zhu Shen Tai, a weapon of the ancient imperial court, is connected to the national luck. After targeting the target, it can mobilize the national luck and surpass the level to kill the enemy. In addition, the more enemies killed, the stronger the power of the god-slaying platform. Good baby. Qin Wudao was overjoyed and took out the god of execution platform from the system space, placing it above Hangu Pass. Suddenly, there were gusts of Yin wind, blood waves, and a rolling murderous aura, containing the sharpness of cutting through the void. The terrifying killing intent permeates, washing the heavens and shaking the heavens and earth. This is the guillotine. Does your highness want to? Wang Jian looked at the Zhu Shen Tai and a crazy idea came to his mind. The alliance of the 6 countries and the strong 6 sects, disregarding morality, invaded Hangu Pass. Prince Qin Wudao, with the will of the great Qin Empire, killed the invading enemy. Qin Wudao's figure flickered and appeared on the platform of the god of execution, speaking coldly. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Brave Actions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Brave Actions, Zhu Shen Tai, Qi. Under the gaze of everyone, Qin Wudao clenched his seal with both hands, and the god of execution platform burst into flames of blood. 3 blood-stained chains flew out, transforming into dozens of zhang of blood dragons and breaking through the air. The first chain binds the Tianhua sect elders who have been nailed to the ground by the 18 cavalries of Yan Yun. The second chain, with immense pressure, suppresses Qianjiao, the leader of the 6 great gates. The third chain, flexibly drilling into the ground, pulled out the dying Chu River dome. Counting carefully, there were a total of 30.4 figures hanging around the divine execution platform, constantly struggling but to no avail. Everyone's faces were filled with fear. Qin Wudao, what are you doing? The 6 powerful sects broke free from the Yan Yun 18 cavalry and flew around the Zhu Shen Tai, furious. For tens of thousands of years, you have attacked the great Qin Empire multiple times, causing countless old Qin people to die in battle. This blood feud will be repaid from them. Qin Wudao remained expressionless, controlling the blood dragon chain and placing the elder of the heavenly fire sect on the divine execution platform. The hanging guillotine seemed to sense the taste of blood and began to tremble slightly, emitting the sound of dragon chants one after another. Qin Wudao. Do you dare to slay the disciples of the 6 schools? The elder of the 6th sect was greatly shocked and yelled fiercely. The unparalleled fierce light shone through his body, but he dared not act rashly, afraid that the divine slaying sword would fall and kill the elder of the heavenly fire sect. Today, we will first slay you in order to shake the power of the great Qin nation. The next day, we will slaughter the 6 sects, capture the 6 kingdoms, and worship the heroic souls of the Qin people. Qin Wudao said coldly, with black hair flying all over his head, his eyes shining brightly, penetrating the 9 heavens. Slash. Without giving the elder of the 6 schools a chance to reply, Qin Wudao exploded with murderous intent. Slash. 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 The roar of heaven and earth echoed with the sound of slaughter in the void, like the anger of the heavens, ready to slay those who defy the heavens. No, don't kill me. Your Highness the 9th Prince, spare my life. I can make a vow of the heavenly way that from now on, I will never be enemies with the great Qin Emperor again. I'm only 300 years old, in my prime, and I don't want to die yet. Death is approaching, and the elder of the heavenly fire sect kneels on the ground, constantly howling. The posture of the strong is completely abandoned at this moment, leaving only cowardice, fear, and despair. Boom! The god-slaying blade fell. Blood splattered and stained the altar red. One by one, huge heads broke through the air and rolled down to the ground. How dare he! He and the sect elders were all stunned as they watched the dazzling blood on the platform of the god of execution. He, Qin Wudao, actually beheaded the elder of the heavenly fire sect. Since the establishment of the 6 great gates, how has it ever been so insulted? Strong members of the sect can die on the battlefield, but their skills are inferior to those of others. Apart from anger, they will not have any other emotions. However, kneeling on the guillotine and being beheaded with a guillotine is like stepping on the face of the 6 great gates and rubbing them fiercely. What am I afraid of? Qin Wudao sneered and waved his right hand again. Except for Chu Jiangqiu, he and his sect Tianjiao knelt on the platform of the god of execution, and the god of execution sword stained with blood was about to fall again. Your Highness, Prince Bujiu, have something to say. Seeing their own Tianjiao kneeling on the platform of the god of punishment, the elders of the 6 great sects were panicked. If this were to be executed, the sect would experience a lack of support. The blood feud of the country has nothing to say. Without hesitation, Qin Wudao's mind moved and his divine sword fell again. Boom! Blood light suddenly appeared, and after the elder of the heavenly fire sect, more than a dozen undead souls were added to the god execution platform. Qin Wudao, you're looking for death. This action completely angered the powerful members of the sect, unleashing endless blood and flying towards the execution god platform. The sect's Tianjiao was beheaded, and they bear the main responsibility. Only by killing Qin Wudao can they make up for their mistakes. Otherwise, even if they did not die on the battlefield, when they returned to their sect, they would still be severely punished, even more tragic than death. Among them, the elder of the Heavenly Gang's sect was the most active, because on the platform of the god of execution, Chu Jiangqiong was also bound. Compared to other heavenly pride, Chu River Dome is the most important. Have you asked us if you want to attack His Highness? The 18 cavalries of Yan Yun rode their horses and galloped, blocking the front of the divine execution platform, like a sacred mountain, blocking all attacks from the outside. Get lost! The elder of the Heavenly Gang's sect roared angrily, burning his essence and blood directly. With the blood light, his strength was greatly enhanced again, and the void was overwhelmed, emitting a click sound of fragmentation, as if he was about to destroy all things. Well done! The eyes of the 18 cavalry of Yan Yun were slightly bright, and the murderous aura surged in the sky. The black cloak swayed, and the curved swords in their hands were shining brightly, fiery and brilliant, forming a brilliant sword light in the void. Boom! Under 9 days, the crescent moon illusion disappeared. Suddenly, the roaring sound moved the sky and the earth, and the blazing radiance scattered like a bright moon exploding, sweeping across all things. The void within a radius of several hundred zhang was shattered into debris, and the cruel power of the void spread, causing other sect powerhouses to retreat one after another, avoiding the aftermath of the void and staring intently at the center of the explosion, wanting to know the situation inside. Who won? Or is it a win-win situation? A few minutes later, the aftermath dissipated, and the void returned to its original state, revealing the scene inside. The 18 riders of Yan Yun were enveloped by a crescent moon, unscathed, while the strong Tiangang sect standing opposite them were dead, disabled, and losing their combat effectiveness. The void was silent, except for the heavy sound of the 18 riders of Yan Yun. There was no noise at all. They're almost done, kill. The elder of Jinyang's sect noticed something unusual about the 18 cavalries of Yan Yun and exclaimed excitedly. He exchanged a glance with the other strong members of the sect, enhanced the formation, and launched another attack. This time, the 18 cavalries of Yan Yun did not resist and stood quietly in the void. On the Zhu Shen Tai, Qin Wudao placed Chu Jiangqiong on the Zhu Shen Tai, carrying his hands on his back and gazing at the battlefield ahead. If you don't kill me, you still have a chance to live. Chu Jiangqiong opened his eyes and said weakly. In the dim light of his eyes, there was a desire to live, and he didn't want to die either. He has a special physique and is destined to have a prosperous path in his future cultivation. Even if he cannot break through the realm of the great emperor, he can still become the king of the holy realm. Even now, are you still threatening me? Qin Wudao smiled and asked. Boom! As soon as the words fell, a mysterious pillar of light rushed out from behind the Hangu Pass, crossing the sky and earth. A collapsed void and a pervasive aura spread, making everyone present feel breathless. Heavenly Realm Powerhouse. The elders of the sect turned pale, and their mood suddenly became heavy. With the support of the battle formation, they could only unleash the initial combat power of the heavenly realm. However, the strong ones that have emerged now are not just as simple as the early martial artists in the heavenly realm. No last resort. The pillar of light cracked open, revealing the figure of Jia Su, containing boundless power. With a single word, mysterious power spread throughout the sky, causing all powerful members of the sect to fly backwards. It's your turn. At the same time, on the platform of the god of execution, Qin Wudao whispered, and in the despairing and unwilling gaze of Chu Jiangqiong, he dropped the god of execution sword. This knife, the divine body falls. The blood-containing golden light scattered throughout the entire platform of the god of execution. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Horses treading on 6 kingdoms. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Horses treading on 6 kingdoms, boom. When Chu Jiangqiong fell, the primitive continent's sky was shrouded in darkness, with the sun and moon appearing briefly. At the same time, all the warriors in the 3000 Dao realm felt an inexplicable sensation. The divine body falls, and the golden age opens. This prosperous era has finally begun, and I wonder who can suppress it. In the previous era, there were 638 special constitutions, with the 5th-ranked space-time divine body as the reverence. I wonder how many divine bodies will appear this time. On the vast continent, many extraordinary powers, supreme emperors, and sleeping ancestors have emerged from behind the scenes, facing a new era of cultivation with a positive attitude. At the center of the continent, above the misty clouds, there is an eternal jade monument floating in nothingness, carved with 3,000 paths. Except for the sun god ranked 580th, all others shine with golden light. It is also fortunate that this jade tablet is hidden in endless nothingness and has not been discovered by outsiders. Otherwise, there will be another huge uproar. Is it lucky for the primitive continent to awaken all 3,000 special constitutions? Or unfortunate? Outside the Hangu Pass, the lucky Tian Gang sect elder looked at the body of Chu Jiangqiong and was furious, spewing out several mouthfuls of blood. The hope of the sect's rise disappeared like this. The armies of the 6 countries and the strong members of their sects are all disheartened and have low morale. Mighty. 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 On the contrary, the morale of the army of the great Qin dynasty was high, their faces turned red, and they shouted loudly. The scene that just happened made their blood boil. On the divine execution platform, judge the 6 strong sects, behead the elders, suppress Tianjiao, and execute the divine body. This battle was not the one that annihilated the enemy the most, but it was the one that made them feel the most satisfied. Rewind quickly. Emperor Qin broke through into the Holy Realm, and the sect leader and the supreme elder suffered a disastrous defeat. At this moment, dozens of streams of light flew out of the Hangu Pass, fleeing in a panic. Each person's body was covered in scars, indicating that they had experienced intense battles before. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's faces turned pale and colorless. Emperor Qin broke through the sacred realm, and coupled with the arrogance of the heavens, Qin had no way, posing a danger to the 6 kingdoms. Behind the battlefield, upon hearing these words, Chu Wuji felt as if he had drained his essence and spirit, sitting on the ground, revealing endless despair. The great Qin Empire, with the presence of saints and strong men, would surely soar into the sky. In a daze, he saw Qin sweeping the 6 harmonies and unifying the turbulent eastern ancient regions that had been in turmoil for over 10,000 years. Entering the Holy Realm, heavenly blessings of Qin. The Tianhua Taoist, who was alone, looked up to the sky and cried out in sorrow. He reluctantly glanced at Qin Wudao, turned around and ran away, like a lost dog, disappearing into the endless wilderness. The remaining 5 surviving elders of the sect, with a heavy heart, moved away from Hangu Pass. Retreat. The mournful sound of the horn echoes through the battlefield. Upon hearing that the soldiers of the 6 kingdoms were about to retreat and were frightened, they all breathed a sigh of relief and quickly withdrew from the battlefield, leaving behind corpses all over the ground, telling the story of the ruthlessness of war. How many people could return from a war? Kill. Watching the enemy escape, Qin Wudao's eyes flickered with a killing intent and he led a large army to pursue them. Kill. 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 The sound of overwhelming slaughter erupted from the mouth of Qin's soldiers, with morale like a dragon, closely following behind Qin Wudao and beheading the fleeing enemy by the sword. Upon hearing the sound of pursuit from behind, the soldiers of the 6 kingdoms were terrified and didn't want to die. They simply gave up their formation and fled separately, forming dozens of teams on the vast wilderness. For tens of thousands of years, the great Qin Empire has finally broken through the Hangu Pass. Wang Jian stroked his beard and nodded in satisfaction. The current situation was very favorable for the great Qin Empire. Emperor Shang Qin broke through the Holy Realm, took control of the imperial capital, suppressed the strong in the eastern ancient regions, and ensured the eternal stability of the great Qin state. The heavenly pride Qin Wudao awakened his divine body. At only 15 years old, he broke through the Dharma realm and broke the cultivation record of the great Qin, with an infinite future. One of the two can ensure the prosperity of the great Qin dynasty. Now that both are obtained, it is enough to bring about the rise of the great Qin and the hope of unifying the eastern ancient regions. General, let's also follow His Highness to kill the enemy. A general was eager to try it out, and seeing his comrade slaying enemies made his hands itch. Where are we going? If we all go, who will protect Hangu Pass? Wang Jian's eyes widened, then he clenched his long spear and said with righteousness, "Stay and guard the pass. I will go to protect your highness, don't fall into the enemy's trap." The generals twitched their lips and cursed shamelessly in their hearts. Your highness has a powerful heavenly realm around him, and you still need to protect him. But military orders cannot be violated, they can only guard the checkpoint and witness Wang Jian leave. Order, clean up the battlefield. In the midst of boredom, the generals led their soldiers to clear the battlefield, carefully picked up the remains of their comrades, placed them behind the Hangu Pass, and covered them with white cloth. For a moment, the air was filled with sadness and desolation. On the boundless plain, the sound of horse hooves was wild, and the soldiers of the great Qin dynasty galloped freely. Gold and iron horses engulfed the air for thousands of miles like tigers. They are venting, they are reveling. Grandfather, have you all seen it? We have crossed the Hangu Pass, and the 9th prince has led us to victory. Rest in peace. On a small battlefield, young Qin soldiers knelt on the ground, howling in pain, and tears welled up, blending with the blood on their faces and turning into tears. 50 years ago, his grandfather was shot and killed by a stray arrow during a fierce battle with the 6 kingdoms, and was hit by 15 arrows. 25 years ago, his father was attacked by soldiers from the 6 kingdoms while patrolling outside the Hangu Pass. He cut off his limbs, scraped off flesh and blood, and fed them to wild animals and birds. Qin has been suffering from the 6 kingdoms for a long time. In a scene like this, Qin Wudao looked at it no less than 10 times, holding the weapon stained with blood, feeling heavy and filled with emotions. Your Highness, there are 9 counties in Daqin, each with a population of over 100 million. Only the 3 counties around Hangu Pass have a population of no more than 30 million, and the missing part of the population has been buried on the battlefield. Wang Jian chased after Qin Wudao from the rear and heard his sighs. He explained softly. Since the day he led the army, there have been more than 10 million Qin people who died on the battlefield. One day, I will trample on the 6 kingdoms, turn their imperial cities into cemeteries, and turn the 6 great gates into a dead end. Qin Wudao lowered his voice and made his first oath after crossing the river. Ma treads on the 6 kingdoms. Ma treads on the 6 kingdoms. Horses tread on the 6 kingdoms. The conversation between the two fell into the ears of the remaining soldiers, and their spirits were all shaken. They roared angrily, shaking the sky. Looking at Qin Wudao's gaze, there was an additional fanaticism of believers. Order to continue pursuing. Qin Wudao's sword points towards the south, with a murderous aura soaring into the sky. The army rushed forward, and all the soldiers emitted a dazzling blood light, forming a massive flood that was about to engulf the soldiers of the 6 countries on the plain and drive them all away. Facing the Qin army with a determination to kill, the outcome of the soldiers of the 6 countries can be imagined. Nearly 2 million elite soldiers, only 50,000 of them escaped from the plain. Quickly, the news of the defeat of the 6 kingdoms spread throughout the eastern regions, including the Qi Empire, Jin Empire, Zhao Empire, Wei Empire, Yan Empire, and Chu Empire, causing a great uproar and panic among the court and the public. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Attack on the Great Way. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Attack on the Great Way. Among the 6 kingdoms, the most terrifying was undoubtedly the Great Wei Empire. They were closest to the Hangu Pass, and as long as the Qin army crossed the plain, they could reach the border of Great Wei. Yi City, the capital of the Great Wei Empire, used to be bustling with cars and horses, bustling with prosperity. But with the news of the defeat at Hangu Pass spreading, this city has long been in panic, losing its former prosperity enshrouded in darkness. The spacious and majestic imperial palace, where the Wei emperor summoned courtiers to discuss countermeasures, revealed a worried expression on everyone's faces, changing their previous calm and composed demeanor. A battle report has been sent from the front line, and the Qin army is stationed outside the Ani Pass, ready to launch an attack at any time. Do you, dear officials, have any good strategies to retreat from the enemy? Emperor Wei, dressed in a dragon robe and sitting upright in the imperial chair, asked with a serious expression. With one sentence, the atmosphere of the imperial palace immediately solidified, like a sacred mountain weighing heavily on everyone's hearts. The strength of the 6 countries may not be as strong as that of the 6 major sects, but those who can sit steadily for thousands of miles, inherit for over 100,000 years, and command thousands of martial arts naturally have outstanding qualities. For example, the courtiers in the court all have cultivation above the Dongtian realm. Among them, officials above the 3rd rank have cultivation in the Nirvana realm, and the few ministers standing at the front exude an extraordinary aura. Of course, the most powerful cultivator was the Wei Emperor, who was a heavenly realm warrior. In addition, there were several sleeping ancestors in the Great Wei Empire, all of whom were strong and powerful throughout history. Your Majesty, although the Great Qin Empire is powerful, the potential crisis is also significant. Emperor Qin broke through the Holy Realm and killed the strong members of the 6 Great Gates. In addition, Qin Wudao, outside the Hangu Pass, executed various sects Jinjiao, especially Chu Jiangqiong. This move undoubtedly touched the 6 sects' rebellion. In no time, the 6 Great Gates will awaken their dormant ancestors and attack the Great Qin Empire again. Therefore, we only need to mobilize the entire country's heavy troops, defend Ani Pass, and wait for the founder of the 6 Great Gates to awaken, and the Qin army will break through without attacking. After a moment of silence, Prime Minister Gongsun Yen arched his hand, his face extremely solemn, and said in a deep voice. The courtiers in the main hall whispered to each other, discussing the possibility. Your Majesty, I will consider it feasible. General Pang Wan's eyes flickered as he stood up and said. Your Majesty, I agree. Your Majesty, I also agree. The 2 elders spoke up, and the other courtiers all agreed. Apart from this method, they had no way to retreat from the enemy. The solution is feasible, but the Qin army is fierce. With the strength of our country, can we resist the Qin army's attack? Emperor Wei nodded and expressed his concerns. Your Majesty, we can send envoys to support the 5 countries. I believe all the kings of the 5 countries understand the principle of lips and teeth cold. Gongsun Yen bowed again and calmly replied. Upon hearing this, Emperor Wei's worries subsided and he stood up with a majestic command, saying, Send orders to appoint Pang Wan as the commander-in-chief, to lead the army of the whole country, stationed at Ani Pass, and to send envoys to the 5 countries, requesting assistance. To prevent the warriors of the Great Qin Heavenly Realm from taking action, I will awaken 2 ancestors and join the army in battle. In the afternoon of that day, Pang Wan led a 500,000-strong army stationed in Yi City to Ani Pass. At the same time, the elite forces of local counties also began to mobilize and march towards the front line in a grand manner. Even before the war broke out, the number of troops stationed at Ani Pass reached an astonishing 3 million, and this number is constantly increasing. About 50 miles away from Ani Pass, Qin Wudao led the Qin army stationed here. A group of Qin soldiers, armed with battle soldiers, patrol around with eagle-like eyes. Within a radius of 30 miles, they can control any wind or grass in the first place. Central camp, Qin Wudao, Wang Jian, and Jia Su sat opposite each other, with a table in front of them displaying maps around Ani Pass. From the map, it can be seen that Ani Pass is built along the mountains and by the water, with a dangerous terrain. It has a momentum of one person guarding the pass and 10,000 people unable to open it. More than 10 miles away, there is also a rushing river. In front of the three, there is a difficult choice. They sent troops to pursue and kill the remnants of the Six Kingdoms, not to attack the Great Wei Empire. Now their goal has been achieved. Is it a withdrawal? Or continue the attack? Your Highness, within the Ani Pass, there is a gathering of soldiers from the entire Wei dynasty. We only have 500,000 soldiers, and the court has not issued any orders. My suggestion is to stop at a moderate level. Jia Su looked at the map for a while and said in a condensed voice, which also fits his conservative personality. Without a foolproof plan, he wouldn't take risks. Qin Wudao tapped his fingers on the table, feeling a bit unwilling to withdraw. Now that the morale of the Qin army is high, it is a good time to expand territory. If we don't attack this time, it will be difficult to capture once the 6 countries are ready. What Jia Su said has some truth. Without the support of the imperial court, he only has a 500,000 strong army, making it difficult to break through Ani Pass. Wang Jian sat by the side, his eyes fixed on Qin Wudao, without expressing any opinion. Ding, the system has issued long-term missions. As a future powerhouse, how can one be alone? In order to urge the host to become the leader of the faction, a faction mission is specially issued. For each empire occupied by the host, they can receive a sign in reward. Just as Qin Wudao hesitated, the sound of the system sounded with a strong sense of temptation. Does the system also support me to send troops? Qin Wudao pondered to himself, gradually solidifying his thoughts. He suddenly patted the table and said in a low voice, I have decided to attack Ani Pass. Upon hearing this, Jia Su's face did not change much. As a qualified subordinate, he could offer suggestions but could not oppose Qin Wudao's orders. His mind quickly turned and he began to contemplate strategies for attack. But soon, his face became solemn, his eyebrows furrowed, and 500,000 troops were too few. He tried several methods, but none of them succeeded. Qin Wudao was the same, completely without any offensive thoughts. He began to regret it a bit. He was still too young and even wanted to use 500,000 people to attack a level guarded by 3 million people. Your Highness, attacking the city with 500,000 troops is indeed a bit difficult. I am now issuing an order to mobilize another 1 million troops from Hangu Pass and form 1.5 million people. With your Highness's intelligence and talent, we should be able to succeed. Wang Jian said with a smile on his face that after the end of the war, he received orders from the court to mobilize the army in the Hangu Pass area on his own to attack the 6 kingdoms. But Qin Wudao and Jia Su were unaware of this, thinking that Wang Jian had sent troops without authorization, and they were all grateful. General, rest assured that I will definitely capture Ani Pass. Qin Wudao stood up and quickly assured him that with a 1.5 million strong army, he had confidence in capturing Ani Pass. Your Highness, it's good if you have confidence. Wang Jian waved his hand and smiled, saying that he intended to cultivate Qin Wudao and increase his military command ability. As for the outcome of this battle, he didn't really care. With him personally in charge, even if he were defeated, there wouldn't be too many casualties. After confirming the deployment of troops, Qin Wudao and Jia Su began to discuss tactics. After Wang Jian wrote a transfer order, he sat by the side and nodded occasionally. A day passes through discussion. On the second day, Vice General Hangu Guan led a 1 million-strong army to the front line. After the army converged, Qin Wudao and Jia Su also formulated tactics and prepared to send troops. The fighting spirit is getting stronger and stronger. End of this chapter.